Yeah, welcome to How Can She? This is the Marvel Snap podcast dedicated to the filthiest of casuals. I'm the kid, one half of the Super Snap Bros, here with my brother from the same mother, Mr.
No big deal. Let's go.
He's here. We got a very special guest today. We have the host with the most, the Herald of Galactus. This guy has more comic book knowledge than I probably do on any topic ever in my life. He is the creator of Weekends with Agatha. Please give it up for Mr. Joe from Snap Decisions. One of the best podcasts out there. Amazing. Joe, welcome to the pod, man. Happy to have you.
Thanks so much, man. What an introduction. Wow. I don't think I've ever gotten an introduction like, even on my wedding, I don't think I got an introduction like that. That's pretty damn awesome. Yeah, man, I'm really happy to be here. I heard about you guys a while back, started listening to it, and I'm like, man, this is great. You guys just have an awesome amount of fun at what you do, and I absolutely love that. That's one of the things, right? You were kind of an inspiration in a way for me to start, because I'm like, these guys just sound like they have so much fun, so I kind of want to do this. I want to go on. I want to just have some fun doing it. So, yeah,
nice.
No, it's awesome. It's great to be here. I appreciate you inviting me.
Oh, dude, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for the kind words. That's awesome. Yeah, I just made all that up. We don't prepare anything on this podcast. It is the filthy casual podcast, you know.
Yep.
And today we got a pretty good episode. We have Miek came out. Not the most exciting card, but we'll talk about him a little bit. What is exciting are the OTA changes that came out. Some big moves there. We're also going to go into a little fan favorite here. And by fan favorites means something that I love, which is making AI images and having the guests guess them what the decks are. And then we're going to get into some of the spotlight caches and talk about what we think you should spend your tokens on or not spend, just in our stupid opinions. So let's get it! All right, Joe, how are you, my man? And no big deal, I guess, but you know, mostly Joe. How are you? How's your weekend snap been?
Oh man, it's been pretty good. I of course I got my Weekends with Agatha stuff. That stuff is just freaking hilarious, dude. The fact that even works just blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. All I do, and I've told people, I take the shell of the deck, which I found on actually Regis had an Agatha deck way back, and I was watching his stream, and I just take it. I go Domino, Quicksilver, Wave, Agatha. That's the shell, and then I take the weekend mission cards and throw them in there. And for whatever reason, now this week I thought, oh, there's no way. Meek is not, I had him in there. I'm like, he can't, there's nothing that's going to make him do anything. I have nothing in the deck that's going to make him do anything. So he's just going to sit there and be a 1. And I'm like, there's no way. And there I come across my first deck I play is High Evo. I'm like, oh, I'm dead. And then sure enough, just something happens along the way. And I call it Agatha magic, because it's like, I don't know what it is. It's something happens along the way where they'll get like Daily Bugle. She'll jump to them, and then she plays their deck and of course loses, because that's what she does. So, or she just, something stupid will happen, and then they'll lose like 1 or 2 games, and either 1 or 2 things happens. Either they'll stay because they're so pissed that they're losing to an Agatha deck, or they'll just immediately leave after they lose the first time because they don't want to say that they lost to an Agatha deck. But it is so much fun. I said, if I end up ever streaming, and I don't know that I ever will, but if I do, that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to stream Agatha decks the entire time, which I think is hilarious. But it was fun. I always try to, the weekends are really fun with that. Otherwise, I've been trying to climb I don't play ladder very much at all. I haven't for a long time, but I've been trying to play a little more because I got pretty far with that Galactus deck that I've been using and stuff like that. So I got up to like 86, 87, and then it kind of just, that was it. It hit a wall. I was done. I was losing almost everything. So I put out a post and asked a bunch of people for, recommendations and stuff like that. And I got a bunch of good stuff. I got lots of the deck from Gunny and other things. And so it was cool. So I was messing around with different things. The only thing with that is when you switch decks, and you guys probably know this, if you switch decks a lot, you're not going to win consistently, because you're just not used to, you're not used to playing and the play style of stuff and all that. So, I mean, it's been up and down. So I'll go up a little, I'll lose a little. And then I went back to Conquest and stuff like that because I wanted to save up to get the stuff out of the shop, which is normally what I do. So, but it was fun. It was fun. I messed around with Meek a little bit. Can't say that it was. I think I got it up to like a 1. I think the highest was like a 1.6, a 1.7, or something like that. So it's cool seeing them flying all over the place. Yeah, it's a little unpredictable, but yeah, that was pretty much my week, and watching podcasts and listening to everybody kind of, talk about Blob and all that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Meek is okay. I mean, Meek is like a card that, I mean, I don't know if we could talk about Meek right now. Meek is like a card that, like, I didn't get him. I mean, I'm not really a discard guy. I don't like discard that much, but I got him because of the future potential for discard, because February looks kind of nuts for discard. So I'm like, I'm just gonna keep him. I messed around with him in some of like the like really greedy like Wong decks and stuff, just to have like Wong Mystique, Gambit with Meek and that kind of stuff with MODOK. That stuff was fun. It wasn't that good, but it was pretty fun. I know there were some people in high infinite playing those kind of decks to some success, but Meek seems like an okay card. I mean, no big deal. You're the discard expert. What do you think? It's nice discard as a 1-drop, but yeah.
Yeah, I like Meek. I think discard is like solid now, but not crazy. I think Jiminy Cricket, or he's got a name that's something like that. He's on. If you go to KM Best channel, he's got a Meek deck out. That's pretty good. He's
Jimmy
a top
Dickens.
100 guy. What's his name?
Yeah.
Jimmy Dickens.
Yeah.
There you go, Jiminy Cricket. So. Yeah, Jimmy Dickens. That guy's a genius.
I like that
His
better.
deck's pretty sick because it's not too greedy, but you could pretty consistently get like a 114, like 117 Meek.
Nice.
But it's not like Wong Mystique, like it's just Wong. And if the Wong doesn't work, like you still got MODOK, you still got other APOC, other game plans. So discard feels decent right now. I think a lot of it is because of the blob nerf too. Just you couldn't really play it before. Even if this deck was decent, the 40 power blob in one lane is just you're playing a 16 APOC, a 20 APOC, your Dracula is 16-20. It doesn't matter. Blob just owns you. So now discard is kind of a mid-rangey deck to begin with, and your trickiness is you get to pick what lanes you play. I think Meek adds a good amount to it. Chavez obviously getting out takes a ton of consistency away from it. So, but when you get your Meek down on 1 and your Morby down on 2, like you're kind of cooking, man. Like that's a lot of power already. Like you just get those 2 cards down and you start discarding, and Jiminy Cricket decided to do the collector stuff too. He threw a helicarrier in there, and all your little cards start to scale like crazy. And you don't even need the Wong. I've seen builds with Hellcow instead of Wong. You go like Hellcow Dracula, just play MODOK on 6. Or like just depending on your swarm situation, whether your Drax going to hit it or not. But yeah, it seems like a tier 2 type of deck right now to me. And I think at end of February when Proxima Midnight specifically, that card's probably going to make it like pretty ridiculous.
Good. I hope so. Discard's been kind of shit for a while, so it'll be nice for discard to be a little bit better, at least like semi-competitive. It doesn't have to be like an S tier deck, but like maybe a tier 1, 1.5, like a good deck. Is Meek better than Nebula? You like him more than Nebula in the discard shell?
100%.
Yeah. Would you consider? Because I know some discard decks in the past ran Storm. Would you put Storm in discard decks with this guy?
I don't think it's necessary, but it's good. Like you're playing against Storm type of situations. Like I've played it a bit where I've just beat the Storm player because you could easily clog a location. Actually, I sent you a screenshot today, kid. The guy was playing Storm on right. I clog middle, and it's just MODOK on 6. Meek's going in there, easy win. Yeah. You can contest the Death Domain and Sanctum, Sanctorum, whatever. All these locations where you can't play. Meek can get in there, so I think he's like good utility for that. But I don't think you need to play the Storm, and the deck list is getting really tight now because we just put Meek in. So already are we already cutting the Dakin? Are we already cutting the Collector? Are we already cutting Wolverine? Is a Storm worth it? There's a lot of ways to deal with Storm right now. Like back in the day, we didn't have Miss Marvel. The discard Storm was crazy because that Storm lane it was over. Like unless you had a Darkhawk. Like to play in the Storm lane or the other player had a Jug or something, like you were just auto winning Storm Nebula. Like that was the auto win location. And that's just not the case these days. Yeah, everybody's got
Storm Dracula before Nebula even came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Storm, then you put Dracula, like, all right, I won that lane. Now
Yeah, you beat the Darkhawk with that lane, yeah. And Yeah,
I
it's
know.
just,
I know.
yeah. I
Last
don't think
week,
it's necessary personally.
yeah, I know. As far as the meta in general, last week we were talking, and I remember like what we said, and I instantly like regret our words like maybe 4 days ago because we're like, oh, the meta's pretty good right now. You can play a bunch of decks and stuff, and then like I was playing a couple days ago, and it was like I played a little bit of Conquest because I really want that Ghost Rider variant, even though I don't play Conquest too much.
That variant,
It's so
awesome.
sick, the real wolf variant. I'm like, I'm just gonna grind it so I can get it.
Awesome.
But like, I played Blob Thanos for like an hour and a half straight. And I was playing like dumb decks, and like there's the only deck I played. There was no one else that was playing anything else in Conquest. I'm like, what the hell? Like I was doing like Silver and Proving Grounds. Like people were sweaty Blob Thanos and Proving Grounds, and on the ladder it was like 60% of matches. I was like, man, this is crazy. So like I kind of understood what everyone was saying after that because I was like, man, we just said that the meta was pretty good, and we're like, oh, we're playing a bunch of stuff. Like we were playing a bunch of stuff, but like it was nuts. And I'm one that like I personally I don't care if cards are overpowered because I think that's hilarious and fun. But when it's like they're overpowered and everyone plays the exact same thing, I hate that. Because like even like when a new card comes out, I usually don't play it for a couple of days because everyone's playing like the same deck, and I hate mirrors so much that I'm like I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, it just degenerated for a while there. Did you guys see a lot of the Blob Thanos like just take over your lives or what?
Oh, last night when I was playing, when I was trying some of the newer decks, in fact, when I was trying Gunny's deck, every single deck I played stone. And I'm like, that I was running a deck at 1.2 where I had Quake. I had Quake in a deck. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. I can mess around with the locations. Nope. They always have that stone that changes the location no matter what you do. And then then I switched to High Evo. Well, then they'd shut my Legion down with the red stone. I'm like, come on. Like, yeah. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. Did they nerf Blob? Because they're still playing this. Like, and they're still, the Blobs they get out were still 20, 21, 22. So it's like, yep, nope, I'm not too sure. I don't know that dissuaded people. Like, people will always stop playing something when it gets nerfed just because it got nerfed. But I saw a bunch of it yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I kind of think they're just going to stick to it. And that lockjaw, I heard people talking about it, and I really don't know what they could do. But Lockjaw, Thanos, something with that has to happen, and I don't know how they could, because they messed up or messed around with Lockjaw, but I don't know. To me, I think it's just that gamble aspect of it. Yeah, sure they can get a stone, but I don't know. I'm not seeing them do it. They get all their big stuff when they go with the, they play me. They ain't getting stones. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I love Thanos. I love the character. I love the card, and I love the stones and stuff. But that stuff with Lockjaw and those big cards is like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't think they're going to stop playing it, because to me, your high roll is going to be. I think you're going to get more high rolls than you're going to get low in that deck.
Yeah, I honestly, I love the Lockjaw.
Do you?
Thanos.
It's crazy. I mean, it's
I like
fun
the
to
high
play.
roll, that's why.
Yeah.
It is fun. I know it can get oppressive, like especially when you have like the Lockjaw stuff, and then just because you can put like a 670 power blob in another lane, then like it doesn't matter, right? I mean, it's more fair, which is good. I mean, like when I play it, it's like I'm playing against a Darkhawk list. They play a Korg, and then I'm drawing that one rock from the Lockjaw. I'm like, it's like 1 in 15 chance. What the hell, man?
Yep. That's probably how it would go for me too. I see that a lot, and I laugh about it sometimes because it's so ridiculous. Like people will say, I think I had a conversation with somebody who was playing. They were telling me try Destroy, and I'm like, listen, you just don't get it, man. Like if I try that deck, like when I play someone, right, they'll get like last night I was playing a Destroy deck. Guy gets his Deadpool out, Forge, turn 1, Deadpool, turn 2, Carnage, turn 3, like right on curve, right? Everything he gets out. I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll give it a try. Me, I get a handful of 6s and 5s. I'm like, now what am I going to do with this? I got Null, I have Death in my hand, and I have Arnim Zola to start the game. I'm like, and was literally consistent. I'm like, I don't know, man. Sometimes I think this game just hates me. It's like,
That's me with Cerebro. Every time I play Cerebro, I never draw it. And I'm like, I'm not playing this deck for another couple months. Yep. I'm done with this deck. I just can't do it.
It's crazy how some of that happens.
I don't mind it too much. I kind of disagree a bit with that kid. But it's my anecdotal experience playing the last 3 days. I've been just like kind of climbing around 4 or 5K infinite. So I haven't played any Conquest or anything, so I don't know all the blobs out there on Conquest. I haven't played Conquest yet, but I'll wait for the Infinite Gauntlet, then start.
This was pre-OTA. This was pre-OTA.
Oh, you're talking pre-OTA. Okay, I thought you were
Now
talking
it's much better. Now it's much better.
Yeah, I think the meta's like awesome right now, personally.
Yeah. Pre-OTA, I was like, because last week we were like, oh, the meta's in a good spot. We're playing a bunch of decks. Like we said that.
Yeah.
And like we were idiots because 2 days later I was like, shit, this is all blob Thanos. I'm like, oh, this is fun.
No, it was tier 0. It was tier 0 last week for sure. I mean, we were having fun. Don't get me wrong, but we were in tier 0. Yeah.
But I was like only playing that like a few days ago. I was like only against blob Thanos. I'm like, man, what the hell? Can I play it against a different deck? Like,
no, I think could. I mean,
it's
that
way
deck
better
is
now.
Giga busted for sure. But I like. But we did say on the patch notes last week and the leaks and everything that we love the changes, and I think they did a great job. And I think these upcoming changes. I mean, we'll get to it later, but I think they did an awesome job on Blob. I think you could play like 10 different decks right now in the like meta. Like it's like a Destroy's popping up again. Like everybody's playing Destroy. We have like lockdowns popping up. This Gunny T thing you have on the screen right now. We talked about it last week, but Gunny T. This to me, this is the new Shuri Sauron deck.
Yeah,
like,
10 snap.
Yeah, this is you don't play Shuri Sauron. Like play this instead. I think it's a little bit better. And this guy just said like, how could I abuse Scar to the absolute maximum? And this is like, Warpath of 410. Okay, he's going in there. So,
well, I mean, it's January, right? So you have your New Year's resolutions. Okay, you want to go to the gym, you want to get buff, but you also want to play some Snap as well. Well, this deck, you just play one big idiot at a time, and in between turns, you can do chin ups, you can do push ups, you can do your dips, you can get jacked and play Snap at the same time.
There you go.
Only time, you just got to turn your brain on for when you play Quake, but every other card in here, like easy, just slam it down, you're killing.
That is right up my alley, man. I put a post up today saying, does anyone have any simple stuff where I don't have to do math? Because I don't want to be doing math. I took journalism in college because I hate math. So but yeah, you're right. This deck is fun. I was playing it yesterday, and it's like you're looking at the cards, like you guys were just saying. You're looking at these cards, and you're like, what the hell? I don't think I've ever played Warpath in a single deck I've ever made. And it's like, and then you're thinking Atuma armor combo. I've seen that a little bit before, or Zero, but it just really works. Like all the cards in this deck like really work. And then worst comes to worst, you have all your big stuff underneath armor, and then you play Destroyer last turn, and it's this is a fun deck. It really is.
Yeah, I played a game with it today, and I laced this guy for 4 cubes because one of the locations was Superflow. Oh. So my Scar ended up being 0 in the game. I just had no clue that I was like putting down like 30 power last turn. I was like, it was a 0-11. It was insane.
That's awesome.
This deck is so fun. I love it. It's great.
It really
and Gunny T is top 500 global now with it. Like legit.
Yeah, I saw that. Good for him, man. That's really cool.
It's good.
Yeah, that's really cool. It has to be a cool feeling when you come up with something like that, because it's not easy. Like with the amount of cards we have, it's not simple to come up with something that somebody didn't already play. And then when you do something like that, and it's like, wow, and all of a sudden you're getting recognition from everybody, and he said he jumped up that far. That's good. Good for him, man. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just net deck like a filthy casual, right?
I do, yeah, me
I
too.
Just, I look and I'm like, I don't even want to think. I'll just play something someone else played, and maybe I'll take out a card or two and put in a card that I think is more fun or something.
Yep.
Like, Dr. Octopus is like, he could maybe throw Dr. Octopus here instead of Ronin if you want to be like an idiot, right? Like, it's hilarious. Nerf Herder, actually, he just put a video with the new blob and stuff after the OTA. He did a Shuri Red Skull blob list. He's like 72% win rate with almost 40 games.
Okay, so I guess you can still play Shuri Red Skull.
Yeah. So it's basically like Maximus Gladiator, like the Chad, all the big cards, but like then you have Shuri Red Skull and Blob as well with tasks. So it's like it was pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, and Shuri Red Skull is probably one of the easiest decks you could play. I mean, the way the line works, there's no thinking really to it at all. So yeah, I could see that. Just putting those big cards in there, they fit really well.
Yeah, that was my first infinite ever, was because I got lucky and pulled Shuri like out of the collection track back when you get Series 4 cards.
Yep.
And then no big deal, pulled Orca, and I laughed. But that was good. We're
The
like, oh,
boy.
I'm like, oh, I got sure. He's like, I just pulled Orca.
Yeah.
Like, oh, nice. There goes your like 0.5% Series 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was my first Infinite with a broken Shuri Red Skull deck when Shuri was like, you could play it on any lane.
Yeah,
It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah. Before she got nerfed, that's awesome. Hey, Orca was my one.
Orca's good.
He was my MVP card in that Galactus deck for the past 30, 40 levels. He won me more games, I think, than Galactus did because no one's expecting him on that last turn. And it's like I'm throwing down a 16 in a lane, and you're just not waiting for it. So, and I have 0 good variants for that. I literally have the base card, and I have I have a Pixel Orca, which is the.
I would say the Pixel's nice. I have the Pixel too. I actually like the Pixel.
He doesn't look that bad. Yeah, he actually of all the other Pixels that are out there, he's not that bad.
Yeah.
But
Namor and Orca Pixels are fire. I like those.
Yeah, Namor's is good.
Pixels.
Yeah. You know which one I love the most? Getting completely off track is Jubilee's. Jubilee's Pixel is.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh my god, Jubilee's Pixel sure reminds me of like an old RPG, like Final Fantasy or something.
That's exactly what.
Joe, you like RPGs? I remember you said that one time when you were
big time Final Fantasy guy. I've played literally all of them except the online one very much. But yeah, that's
my favorite. I would say my favorite RPG is Chrono Trigger. I love that one.
Oh man, that's such a great game. Yeah, dude.
Banger.
Love
top 5 all time for sure.
I think so. And Jubilee reminds me of that game. So if I see it in the shop, I'm picking it up. I don't remember ever seeing it.
That's where I got it. I saw it in the shop, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. That's probably exactly why I liked it. Because as soon as I saw it, I'm like, yep, that's like it reminded me of Final Fantasy 3. I want to say
it does look like that.
Yeah, it definitely does.
It's so cool.
Yep.
What other lists you guys been playing? I mean, I played a lot this week actually, especially after I saw this Martyr Galactus list someone posted. It's kind of like a lockdown with Martyr Celine, Adam Warlock.
Ooh.
I mean, I see Adam Warlock, I gotta go for it. I'm playing the boy Adam Warlock and Galactus. And Eliath, I can be like a super toxic bro here.
That's pretty much, that pretty much was me for the longest time. Ravona does really well with those goblins. If you get those out in one lane, and that's essentially what you try to do. You get the goblins out, both of them, and they have a -11 they're sitting on. Most of the time, they ignore that lane. Even if they have if they're playing with bigger cards or bigger deck, they just let it go. And then you could end up just beating it in the end with the Galactus. But that looks cool. That's essentially what I tried. I was messing around with a little bit of that yesterday, but that looks better. It's better than mine with the card draw and stuff like that. That Eliath is fire too. I'm so pissed I didn't get that.
Oh yeah, I think this is like one of my first spotlight variant splurges where I'm like, I love that cool one.
I should have gotten it and I just didn't.
I usually don't. The comic book variants are cool, but I'm like, my keys are getting a little limp. I'm like, I don't want to. But there's like the High Evil one looks so cool.
Oh my god!
When like the background is like animated, it looks really cool.
Stuff like that. I love that they're doing that, and I hope they continue to do it. I saved up so much. I think I have 11 caches now because I want that Galactus one.
Me too. I'm gonna roll for that because I had to bookmark the other ones, like get rid of the other ones because I'm like, if I get them, great, I'm happy. But I'm like, if I don't, I'm not gonna roll for them because the Thanos one looks sick and the Galactus one looks sick.
The Infinity War cover, yeah, no doubt. That's one of my all-time favorite comic books too. Yeah, I like them. And what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of the cards that are in the game are covers, and people don't know it. There's a Spider-Man, the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man, the black suit one that he's hunched over and all the webs are behind him. That's a pretty famous, a pretty popular comic book. And then there's the Howard the Duck one too, the recent Infinity War. There you go. Yeah, that's Todd McFarlane's art.
He's great.
Drew Spider-Man for a good while. That the new Howard the Duck Infinity Gauntlet one that came out too. Which why the hell would you get that? Howard the Duck sucks. But
hey, don't be disrespecting the quack, right?
Oh god, he's such a great character though. He needs a better card, man. I was like, when I first, here's me thinking with the Galactus mind that I have. When he first came out, I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. I could stick Iron Lad in the deck. I could put Howard in there. I'd be Galactus on turn like 4, and it never worked. It never worked.
Yeah. If the decks were bigger, then he would maybe see more play, right? But like it's so hard to put him in like a 12 card deck that you're just like, oh man, it's Howard. Like I don't know, he's all right. He's all right for some memes, you know. But
For sure.
One day one day there's going to be a Spectrum Howard list, boys. I mean, I brought one last week to the pod. It was absolutely crushing.
Let's go.
And it's a small ongoing card. So one of these days. Right now is just the Tribunal Hella, or not Hella Enjoyer. Tribunal stuff. That's the way to go if you're going to go ongoing. I think it's just so much power, and you have multiple ways to discount. And I mean, even right now, it's a phenomenal deck to play. You could just put a Cosmo instead of a Wave if you're scared of Enchantress, and you rock and roll with that thing. But if this stuff ever gets tuned down, I'm telling you, boys, Howard, Spectrum, it's coming.
Yeah. Joe, if you want to get infinite like a filthy player, you can play that Living Tribunal list that Helen Joyer made, and you can just leave every time you play a regular human. Don't ever snap, and then
just play bots.
Whenever you get a bot, you just get 8 cubes because they don't understand.
I heard about that. I was listening to somebody.
Just make sure that you're losing by turn 5, and they'll snap you, and then you snap back, and then you just win.
Gosh, well there you go. See,
8 cubes.
There's the secret.
So you just have to grind. You have to. You play 10 games and gain 1 cube total, but
I honestly wonder sometimes, and I don't know how this mechanics of all this stuff works, but I wonder if my collection level, because I am an admitted whale, I am an absolutely admitted whale. My collection level is over like 20K. And it's like, but I wonder if that leads to a reason why, because I heard somebody say that you won't play as many bots if your collection level is higher. And I'm like, okay, I don't know whether that's true or not, but then I'm thinking to myself, if that's true, then I'm screwed because I'll never get bots. So
no, I don't think that's true. I think they just throw them in randomly.
I hope that's
probably for like times. Yeah,
I know I played a ton of them when I was low on ladder, like a ton. When I was like 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, I was playing bots every single time, and you could always tell they do stupid stuff.
Yeah, I think at those ranks they put them in there specifically so that people like. I think just so players feel good and they can climb and they're like, oh, this game's great. And then you start running into like, people and you're like, oh, you start getting rolled when you first start. You're like, oh man.
Yeah.
That's in the game though. That's in the game the whole way I've noticed. Even in Infinite Ladder, like sometimes you'll win a 2 cube win and you get +8, but then you lose like a 1 and it's like -2 or something. And it's like, like, this is math. I don't know. The math's not. You just climb if you play games, like right, like
Yeah. Once you get to a higher elo, then it's like a lot less. Like people like Cam and stuff. Like for us, like an 8 cuber will maybe be like 35 or 30 or whatever it is. For him, it's like 20.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
And then if he loses an 8 cuber, he loses like 35.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Whereas we would lose like 20 or something. So like when you get the high elo, then you have to be like like 60% win rate to stay up there.
Okay. Yeah. No, mine. I'm only like I'm hovering like 5K right now, so I'm very far. I'm far from the top.
Yeah, that's still good, man.
Yeah. Hey. That's awesome.
This deck too. I want to talk about this deck. Revis. I watched him play this a couple days ago. I mean, it's got the new OTA stuff, but I played a crap ton of this deck the last day. This is just like a move bounce with the new dagger, which we'll go over soon in a little bit. But like this has Ghost Spider, Human Torch, Iron Fist, Nico, Dagger, Craven, Doctor Strange, Falcon, Cloak, Vulture, Beast, and Hercules. So one, it's an excuse to play Hercules. And 2, the new dagger very, very frequently gets above 20 power. Mm-hmm. It's just this deck is insane. It's so much fun, but it melts your brain.
That's it. Yeah. I sit there and if I ever wanted a tutorial on move, I'd watch Molt because it's all he plays. And whenever you sit down and watch him, and I'm watching like what he's doing, and I'm like, my brain hurts just watching this stream. And it's like, but yeah, I saw this. It's like a bounce move deck. And,
so fun.
Yeah, I was like, it looks into, and when I saw the change to dagger, which you like you said, we'll go over in a bit, but when I saw that change, I'm like, dude, she goes to one lane, she's 212 if there's 4 cards there. You go spider her back to another lane that's full, and she's a 24. It's like a 224. I mean, come on.
We have a new blob. We have a new blob, Joe, in the game, and her name is Dagger. But yeah, like you said, we'll talk about that later.
I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it because move sucks and move needs something.
Yeah.
So like the savior of move was supposed to be Hercules, supposedly. They just released this card like, here you go, move players. Here's nothing.
Yeah,
it's a spit in their face. But Hercules is actually pretty fun in this deck.
Yeah, the reason where I was saying before with the Meek stuff, where I was thinking that's like a tier 2 is because there's decks like this where move might be tier 1 now. Like I'm not even like bullshitting. Like this stuff is crazy. This dagger card, you get her to 50 like pretty reasonably. Like you could just get her to 50 power. And that's insanity. So I mean, we knew, everyone knew the second they read that dagger. Like, what? Wait a second, what?
Once Shadow King comes back in the meta, though, I mean, like Shadow King's basically absent.
It is.
Then it's going to be a lot less. You're gonna get 2-0 and just be sad, you know. But
it's tough though. It's tough. You got a vulture, you got a craven, you got a dagger, you got a human torch. You can't Shadow King everything. You know, you can maybe fix one lane, but. Yeah, especially a deck like this. Like this deck is way less predictable because there's no Heimdall. So you don't know where the dagger's going. You're gonna have Prio because you have a 50 power dagger, and the dagger is probably going into Hercules. And then where do you Shadow King? It's a 50-50, right? If it's going into Hercules, and you hope it's going into Hercules. But what if like you just play one of your bounce torch for 16 or something? You know, and you just don't move anything. Like. You know, it's tough, man. It's tough.
It is tough. I mean, you gotta have Shadow King early, I think, in a deck like this. But like, you gotta when you have priority, you gotta Shadow King that stuff immediately. You know, that's what I would think. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's also a bounce deck, so it also like has a high skill cap. So it's like melts your brain. So I don't think it's ever gonna get like too oppressive. Plus, Killmonger kills half the deck, a third of the deck.
It does.
Yeah,
not seeing that played much, man, and I'm kind of surprised by that because with all the Thanos running around, you'd figure people would be playing Killmonger, but nobody really plays it. And the Heimdall thing that's a great shout because Heimdall, that's one of the things. Whenever I play move decks, I'm like, they don't worry me one bit because I know where they're going. They're going to play Heimdall right, everything's going to move left, and all I have to do is avoid the left lane. I'll just play middle, I'll beat him in middle, and I'll beat him in right. And it's like you knew that was coming. Now, like you said, with this, you can't predict it as much anymore.
I think, Joe, to your point with the Killmonger, I think people had that idea last meta when we were in tier 0, blob Thanos everywhere. And I think it's tough in practice. Like the way I tried it too myself because I just got Lady Deathstrike. I was excited. Let me go play some Destroy, Just got Lady Deathstrike. She dropped the series. I'm fired up, So what happens is you play like your Deadpool, right? And then like say you kill your Deadpool. Now the Thanos player has priority because Deadpool's sitting in your hand. Yeah. And you have like a Nico or a Forge on the board or something. So you just don't have Prio. And then they play Kyera. All those lists run Kyera. Yeah. And like every blob list at the top all has Kyera. So it's like, okay, if you get the Killmonger off, it's great. But it's what used to be like an awesome matchup for Destroy, right? You just owned Thanos before.
Yep.
Now it's like, just I hope they don't get the Kyera, but I mean they're playing Lockjaw too. She could pop out of there.
Yep.
So maybe you top deck your Killmonger on 5 before you could like turn 6 Killmonger, surprise them. But like Kyera's coming out in this Thanos Lockjaw list at some point, right? True. She's gonna cycle through and then you're done.
Yeah.
So I've gotten owned by that card a few times with Killmonger where I just got really sad. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, because they have Prio, right? They have like Power Stone, Soul Stone. Like these cards all just steal Prio from you, and there's nothing you can do. It's tricky.
Yeah, great point.
It is tricky. But yeah, anyways, the meta is a lot more fun now, I think. After the OTA. So, let's talk about the OTA.
Wait, hold on, real quick.
No, you take your time. Take your time,
I want to give some spice to the people, all right? So, give them a little meta spice.
Do you want me to build your spice or what?
Yeah, let's build some spice here. So, this is a hella deck. It's just a hella deck, and I don't know, but like I haven't seen this hella deck out there. So
that hella is awesome. That's the one from the bundle, right?
Yeah, I had to pay $50. I didn't care.
You know what though?
10,000 credits.
10,000 credits. That's worth it.
That's
worth it. Yeah, that's a fire hella too. Looks really good.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous. I still don't have a hella variant. Actually, I'm still running default with the green background.
Yeah,
I only had this. This is a combo break variant, the original one.
You and I have that same one, the gardening hella. I'm like, that's the only one I had. I'm like, oh great, I have the gardener.
I saw this one. I'm like, oh sick! I can actually get a good hella variant. That's gonna be my Infinity Conquest variant. It's gonna be great. So I got excited about it. All right, no big deal. So
Yeah.
talk to me. Give us the spice.
So just the last couple pods, I've been saying, people have been asking, what's the go-to deck? Went on Glazer's pod there. And I'd say Hella. They go, what do you play? Lockjaw? Do you play Invisible Woman? No, man, we don't play these cards. All right, we play Hella. We want to know what we're discarding, and then everything's targeted, and it's just easy wins. You know when to snap, you know when to retreat. So for discard cards, we got Blade, Colleen. At the low end, no Lockjaw. There's no Jubilee, no randomness. I do like it with Lockjaw, by the way. I'm just talking a little bit of shit. It's great with Lockjaw too.
The
And
Lockjaw
Black
one's
Knight,
fun.
too.
That's the one I used. I use the Black Knight Lockjaw for Infinity Conquest. I go full YOLO.
I've been grinding this
amazing.
one for a little bit, and it's just smashing everybody. So, Blade, Colleen, Lady Sif, of course. And then we got the 4 drops. So Silver Samurai, Black Cat.
Where's my samurai?
Black Cat, and then 5 drops. Got to get that Colleen going. Nobody's doing the spice. Spider Woman, Arrow.
Yes.
Nice.
And then at 6 we got the Blob, still alive. Doctor Doom.
Let's get the new one.
Oh, that's
Nice.
such a good
That one's sexy. Then Hella, Infinite Death. So
Nice.
the idea is, this was always an idea when Blob first came out, but the problem is why don't you just play Blob and Thanos, right? The Blob in this deck has always, and same with Gunny T's version, by the way. And that's why I think Gunny T's deck's really good right now with the new Blob, because his Blob was always like a 20-25 power Blob, and in this deck you get a 20-25 power Blob, and that's phenomenal. That's an Infinite, so it's just you got 2 copies of Infinite. The nice thing with a deck like this is Silver Samurai is hitting Blob and Doctor Doom both times, right? So you have targeted discard on Blob and Doctor Doom to dodge the Hella. The Death obviously protects Hella from Lady Sif. Colleen Wing hits Spider Woman and Arrow in this deck because Black Cat discards herself, and then you just play out the other cards. So your lowest card in your hand is going to be a 5 drop, and that's going to be either Spider Woman or Arrow. You could try other cards here. I've tried Iron Man, stuff like this. But I like these cards because it's if they show up in a lane with nothing, because you don't know where the cards are going when you're playing Hella, they just show up in random lanes. So if they show up in a lane with nothing, then you just win that lane anyway. But if they show up in the lane with stuff, Arrow pulls cards to her, so she'll always be getting value. She's always contesting. And then if Spider Woman shows up in a lane where you're not winning, she goes off and she gets more value. So Doctor Doom spreads out power, so that helps with the cards showing up in random spots. And this is like a 620 Blob every time. Because Spider Woman's 8 arrows, 9, Black has 9, Infinite Death. So your Blob's still rocking, and just very, very easy to play. Everything's targeted, and you just know when to snap and retreat. And so it's a very, very strong deck that just didn't output enough power into Blob Thanos, but I think now overwhelms almost everything in power, other than Living Tribunal shit, So
yeah. Do you like the Doctor Doom in here, over Giganto? Because usually in these Hella lists, you usually play big boys, right, and just get huge in one lane.
Yeah, I wanted something else for Samurai to hit.
Okay, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah, so he's 1 power less than Hella. So Samurai hits lowest power. So you hit Blob and Doctor Doom, so it's really reliable Silver Samurai. And Silver Samurai is awesome in here. It's only disruption, but yeah, you had you get some big hits with Samurai. You hit their Iron Man or something. It's really nice. All kinds of stuff he hits that just makes your opponent sad, and really good time to emote too. If you hit something good, start spamming some emotes. Thumbs up. What just happened? So I need the emote equity. That's really important to me in a deck. That's how I like to play the game.
Oh, man.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I wonder if Leader would be cool in here. He's
Leader's interesting, target. Actually. That would be a good one to try. I love that Leader idea.
Because he'd be a samurai target, right?
Yeah, and turn cool. 6. You're always going off on turn 6, so... Yeah, Leader pops out of your Hella. That sounds really interesting. So yeah, I actually love that idea.
But it's a cool thing to try. I don't know. It's a fun card that doesn't get used as much anymore. But
Later would be awesome in here. That's a cool idea for sure. I
All right,
didn't
this is
think of
good.
Leader. So there you go.
I'm keeping this deck. It's gonna be I'm gonna use it for Infinity Conquest.
There you go.
It's awesome. You're gonna love it.
I'll have to try it out. I wish they had more targeted discard. I know they won't do that, but when I played Magic back in the 90s when I used to play, the physical card game, that was my thing. I played straight black and I played discard, and I just made my opponents discard all their cards, and they'd get hit with a card that would basically penalize them with life points for not having as many cards in their hand. So it was just a lock deck with all discard. But it's such a powerful thing, and I get why they won't do it here, because if you had more cards that did that, make your opponent discard 2 or this and that, you're winning that game. It's just that easy. You get rid of that much stuff. But Samurai is a really interesting card, and I think when it first came out, everybody was like, this is crap. But that's a good point. If you get that, like you were saying, you knock out a card from a tribunal list, or like an Iron Man, or if you knock out the Onslaught or something like that, you're probably winning the game. So that's a good point. I'm going to try it too. It looks fun.
It's fun. Yeah, just I tested it, and if you want to try Leader too, go nuts.
Mill decks would be so much fun. I played some Mill decks, a few months ago. They're horrible in this game. Yep. They're very bad.
Yep.
They output 0 power, but they're so much fun because the wins you get are because people leave.
Yep.
Because you mill their whole deck, like with Yondu, Wong, and like Beast Falcon, all that stuff.
Yep.
And they just leave. And you have Silver Samurai, stuff like that, and like you have 8 total power on the board by like turn 5, and they just leave because they're mad because they lost everything.
They lost their entire
deck.
They're
losing. There's no way you can win the game. Like they just leave.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely. It's again, that when I was playing Magic, that they had a deck like that too. It was a mill deck, and they would do the same thing. You would just sit there, and if they got what they needed to get, your deck's just gone. And you have your hand, and that's it. And you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do now? I'm just done. And it's fun to play, but people would hate playing against it. So it probably won't ever happen. But I like
I like second dinner philosophy.
No,
you can't have
no.
So.
It's like pre-patch Galactus is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Move your whole board.
The part of the OTAs with Destroyer, their little quote in the Destroyer thing, I think it said something like, "We're going to revisit future 6 cards in the future and their power." And then I kind of whisper, "I'm like, can we get a Galactus buff, please?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's never going to happen."
They never ever will.
Nope, they hate it. They absolutely hate the card. They'd get rid of it if they could. And I don't really know why. I mean, it's not like they can't. They can just get rid. But he's such an iconic character. I don't think they'd ever just want to lose it completely. But if they could get rid of it, they would.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the OTAs. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's talk about these things. Let's see here. Just gonna share it.
Good OTAs overall. Once again, I think I like the last 2. Like I said, the leaks, I didn't like the leaks, but I thought they saved it a little bit. They actually took power off Miss Marvel, so that was good. They didn't put Loki to a 4/6. I thought that was ridiculous, and they didn't do that. So give them props, because we shit on second dinner a lot, especially on this spot. So especially at the bottom 10 the cards that are just confused about all of them. But I think they're doing a good job. There's like 3 or 4 in here that still makes 0 sense to me. But at least the main one they nailed. I think that the blob that need to get hit, and I didn't think they would change the text on the blob in an OTA, but they did, and I think they did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I think they're, for the most part, they do really good with these updates. They have some misses and stuff, like talk shit, but I think this one overall is good. They definitely addressed the problem in the meta, and they did a good job, I think. Well, we'll go over it anyways. First one, Blob. Breaking news: Blob is the latest celebrity found to be on the Ozempic from Second Dinner. He lost some weight. They shaved off a couple lbs from this guy.
They did.
They put him back in check. So he was a 6'4", on reveal, becomes 70 power plus more. Now he's a 6'0", merge cards from your deck into this until it gains 15 or more power. Still has the same ongoing text. So basically, it's a little confusing if you read this at first, but what it means is he's going to keep eating cards from your deck until he gets to 15 power or more. Once he gets to 15 or more, then he's going to stop eating cards in your deck, and whatever's left is left. So basically, the least amount of power he can be, I mean, assuming you have all the cards in your deck, the least amount he'll be is a 15. I mean, if you only have like 2 cards left in your deck that are 3 power, then he's going to be a 6. But the least he'll be is a 15. The most he can be is a 34 at this point, because he can eat cards until he gets to 14. Then if he eats the Infinite as the 15th one,
Giganto Infinite.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Get Giganto Infinite and just get a 34.
The nut.
And unless he goes on, he does work on locations like not Sherry's Lab. What's the one? Camartage. So he'll unreveal twice. He'll eat twice. You could Wong Blob. I don't know if anyone will ever do that, but that kind of stuff. But anyways, what do you guys think about this change?
Joe, you go ahead, buddy.
I liked it. I wasn't sure how they would do it because like No Big Deal said, I didn't think they would do it in an OTA either. Now I know they said they could, but I'm like, I don't know if they're going to do that this soon. I was thinking of power. I was thinking they'd go to like 6. Now that's 6-0. I thought they might even go to a 6 like negative, or some people are even saying going to a 7, where the only way you can get him out is if you waived him out. But I'm like, it's too extreme. And so, but I think what they did was probably about the best thing I think they could do, because with this, even if they see it's still too much played or it's too relevant in the meta, they can now take that 15 and they can go lower. So then they can go 14, 13, whatever the case might be. Or if they think it's not being played, they could go a little higher. So they at least gave it a number where they can do that with. So I think they did about as good as they could do with this. I don't know, like I said earlier, I don't know if that's going to solve it, because I think people are still going to play the card. It's still going to find its way in games. You were mentioning a Shuri deck and stuff like that. It's still easily playing in decks like that. But I think they did a good job. I don't really see what else they could have done other than to completely remake the card and just reword it completely.
Yeah, I thought what they did was so elegant. This is a very, very nice change, better than anything I ever read or like thought about on my own. It's a really, really cool change. I mean, he gets worse in Thanos decks, which is great because he was so overpowered in Thanos decks. Because like the stones, right? So like you're gonna eat them and you're probably gonna end up getting to like 15 or 16, right? A lot, most of the time. And it makes him better in other decks where he was kind of suffering. So not suffering, but not as good as just the Thanos. So it's cool, and I like having a big 6-drop, just a big chonky boy that you just throw down, and he's probably going to be about 620, 618 most of the time, which is good. It's good to have a nice fat 6-drop like that. Yeah. So, no pun intended, I guess.
Yeah. No, I love it. A lot of people suggested they eats 4 cards only, so that would nerf the Thanos. I saw people, my suggestion was, have it take half the power. And I think this is great. I think what they did is great. It might even be better than all the suggestions, like you said, because like Joe said, you can now turn the knob of the 15. Or if it becomes a problem in Mr. Negative, move them up to a 6-3 or something, like whatever, So you could always do that. Give them the Gambit nerf, right? So
him with Zola would be hilarious in Negative.
Yeah. So it's doable. You can do it. So. Jane Negative is pretty legit right now, actually. So it's popping off. So IQ break.
Isn't it funny how whenever a card gets nerfed, it has to go right into negative? This will work really well. In
0 power, baby.
It becomes negative. It becomes Surfer card, or it becomes a Zabu card. Either one. One of those.
Which I love. I think that's great.
It's hilarious. You got to say it every time. One of the suggestions I heard too was like it eats your hand, which I think would have been a cool change too.
So penalize the player for playing it. I saw that one. I saw somebody write that down. I'm like, okay, wipe out the hand.
It was called the Lockjaw.
6, it doesn't matter, right?
It was called Lockjaw. It was called Lockjaw though. You can't play Lockjaw now if you're doing that for sure. So yeah.
All right. We don't have to read all that stuff. We get it. It's good.
It's good.
Destroyer. Destroyer. I like this change. 615 to 616. He was nerfed in the past, like, I don't know, a year ago, maybe in beta. I don't even know when he was nerfed.
More than a year ago.
He was a 615, 616. This is just something that should have happened. And I like this change, and I wouldn't even be mad if he was a little more than that. Seeing as though Blob's like a 620. But this is nice. This is nice to have. The extra power is good too, especially for Gunny T's deck. It's nice.
Very true. Yeah.
What do you think?
Go ahead. No big deal. You can go.
Okay, yeah. No, I like this a lot. And Joe, it's funny. You were bringing up Agatha earlier on in this pod.
Yes.
I do like that they're looking at the 6 cost cards, and I've been a proponent of Agatha should be 18 power.
Dude, let's go.
I just think it's an interesting card at 18 power. Like,
Let's go.
Now we got Ghost Rider, we got Wave, we got Lady Sif. It's 18. 14 doesn't really do. It doesn't do based on the penalty it gives you. Like, that power needs to be higher, but I'm okay with it being under Infinite and Thanos fully powered. So I think Agatha should be up, and I'm happy Destroyer got up too, because this hasn't been a deck for a year. Destroyer ongoing. Put the armor, Colossus, whatever. Like, these aren't real cards. They haven't been real cards, and I think with the 616, you have maybe some usage in Nimrod, and of course, Benny T figured it out too. You could 0 Cosmo this guy, or you could just get your blob to eat him, and that's a plus 16 to your blob. So all kinds of application, and I like him at a 16. I think it's a reasonable, fringe kind of usable card at 616, and 15 is just not enough.
Yep.
Yeah, I think fringe usable is the key phrase there, because I don't think he's going to be, bringing Destroy Nimrod back or anything like that, or the ongoing Destroyer. But, fringe usable, yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's I think it's good that they're looking at 6s. I think it was a good change. It really, again, it wasn't played very much, like you guys were saying. You saw a couple of decks came back into maybe about like 3 months ago or so. I think one of the streamers, might have been Cozy, made a deck with Destroyer in it. It got a little bit popular again for a little while, but yeah, I'm fine with this. I kind of said it's like a kind of a mad change. But it's good though. I'm glad they did it, and it just got like they were saying, they start looking at different 6s and stuff now. I think that's a good thing.
All right, nice. I agree. All right, this one. Here we go.
Oh boy!
God damn it, Viper. All right, you guys talk first, and then I want to end this one.
Okay.
Go.
I'll start, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we've been vocal about the junk changes. I don't know why Second Inner hates junk so much. Even with Celine, I mean, they buffed Celine. Like, don't get me wrong, but to me, the spirit of Celine was the threat of sending her over. Like, I would have loved to see a -3 Celine or something like that, rather than a let's move her to 2 power. I get it; she's better now overall. But like, what? Let me throw just a philosophical idea out there. What if I have Celine in my hand, right, and it lets me play it on the enemy side? Just make her like a 1/0, but I can play her on the enemy side, and then her effect still goes off. -3 to both hands. But I literally place her. I don't even have to send her with Viper. Like, that's what Celine should do. Something like this. She should be on your opponent's side of the field. She's a junk card, and I like that. I like that idea. So, when you move Viper up to a 3 cost, like, you kill all this really cool shit that maybe we could do with junk before it even gets a chance to take off. You know what I mean? It'd be like if they just randomly started nerfing move cards now. All of a sudden, like, they start increasing the cost of move cards, like, right after we get Dagger finally. So, like, Celine comes out, let's nerf all the move cards. 3/4 Viper, 3/5 Viper. To me, it's a bullshit card. It should not be a 3 cost. It should be a 2 cost card. I want to see if the Havoc Viper does anything, and if it does, then maybe hit Havoc instead of Viper. Don't hit the Viper. Viper was not a good card at 2/3. It was a fun card that junk players could kind of use sometimes. It was never good. Annihilus and Sentry and Hood were the good cards, and Viper was never the good card. And they nerfed it for no reason. They nerfed Cable for no reason. And I don't know why they're nerfing bad cards, and she's still kind of bad. And I don't love this change. And I think they're missing the mark on Viper personally. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I love it. I agree. I mean, it almost seems as if like they didn't like the Annihilus thing is okay, I guess, but when it came to the rocks getting pushed over and clogging lanes is just where they obviously just didn't want to do, which I don't know. I mean, to me, it's I played it. I didn't ever get the whole thing where it would clog everybody up where they could never play. So I mean, yeah, did you? Yeah, I could see where.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's you rarely see a whole board fully clogged. It almost never happens.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't happen. If maybe you get one lane or something like that, but I don't know. I agree. I think that it's a thing that needs to be out there. It's an archetype that got a lot of love with Annihilus and other cards, and like you were saying about Selene. So and then all of a sudden everything got changed, which I'm guessing it was because people complained saying, "Oh, this is terrible. My whole everything is going to be filled up. I can't make a move. I can't play a card." But yeah, no, I agree. I think this is kind of a dumb change. And then I think didn't they compare it to Polaris? I think they in the notes there. I think at some point they talked about comparing it to Polaris, and I'm like, it's not even close to Polaris. Polaris is so much better. Like for a 3/5, come on, it's not even close now. But yeah, I don't know. They were afraid of that whole Black Widow thing, I think too, and then the thing with Havoc, and it's like, I don't know, let it go and just see what happens. And I mean, if it's bad, change it later. But yeah, I agree. I don't think this was a necessary change.
Yeah, so I'm going to apologize in advance here, but this is a complete horseshit change here. I just can't believe what they did. Like, Second Dinner fucking hates junk. First of all, it's a terrible archetype to begin with. It was an archetype that wasn't even good. It was just really fun to play, all right? First of all, they nerf Black Widow. Then they nerf Viper to 3 power. Then they nerf Annihilus so they can't even send rocks on the board. They're just crushing junk one by one. And I want to actually read this paragraph because it's so out of touch and stupid that I think it deserves attention. So we took a conservative approach adjusting Viper over the holidays for reasons related specifically to Havoc. And fortunately, those fears were unfounded. So they basically just admitted that it was a bullshit combo that didn't do anything, even when it was 2, they're like, oh, it didn't do shit. So, if they wanted to fix, if they were so worried about Havoc, one thing they can do is say, ongoing, this card cannot be moved. There, you fixed Havoc. You can't do that stupid thing. You like putting ongoing can't be moved. That's on Blob. And then you don't ruin a whole you don't start nerfing a whole archetype like junk.
Or just move Havoc to like 3 cost and have him go +5 power or +6 power, right? Like you could increase Havoc's cost. Like, that does the same thing as increasing Viper's cost, right? It's the same nerf, but you're actually addressing the problem.
Yeah, they should have done nothing because it was stupid anyway. It wasn't even a good combo. It's hard, whatever. So here we go. Here, let's hear their reasons for this. We decided to keep Viper for 3 costs for a few reasons. One is that it lets Viper more naturally combo with occasions like Savage Land or Shadow.
Who the hell cares about Savage Land or Shadowland?
Which reveal on turn 3 1/3 of the time. So they're fucking keeping it out of 3, nerfing it just so that the potential that possibly Savage Land or the other fucking Shadowland goes on the 3rd location 33% of the time, and that you might have Viper in your hand, you might want to Viper that, which you probably won't because you probably have the hood and you're probably doing other stuff. So that's one of the reasons. It was completely stupid. And guess what? If it was a 2 cost, you can still do that. You keep it in your hand.
Yeah.
You do it on turn 3 if you want.
Yeah.
Like, you can't not do that if it's a 2 cost. And the second reason, another stupid reason, is that it increases the design space for building cards like the hood as 2 cost cards because Viper can gift them on curve. You know what? Viper can also, as a 2 cost, you can play the hood and you can play Viper on 2. You can gift the hood on curve. So
Viper Demon. How's that for a curve? There you go.
Yeah. You can also, as a 2 cost Viper, you can play the hood and Viper on turn 3 on curve. And also, you can give players agency to say, hey, maybe I want to float 1 mana because I play fucking high Evo too. I know how to float mana. Maybe I'll just pay a 2 cost card on turn 3 and it's not that big of a deal. So this is very clear to me that Second Dinner hates junk. Yeah. They don't want junk to be an archetype, which is dumb because I love junk. But guess what? second dinner, Grandmaster's coming out next week. You're going to see me on the streets of Marvel Snap. I'm going to be playing Ravonna, Darkhawk, Bounce. Guess what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to play Ravonna on 2, and then I'm going to snap. Then I'm playing Black Widow on the right lane. Then I'm playing my 1-cost Grandmaster on the right lane. And then I'm playing Beast in the middle lane. So then you're going to get a Widow's Bite. And then the Grandmaster is going to give you another Widow's Bite. And then I'm going to bounce. And then I'm going to bounce the Black Widow again and play my 2-cost Black Widow to give you a third Widow's Bite. And then I'm going to say, fuck your Nerf second dinner. And guess what? Also, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to play it in my junk deck, and I'm going to do that same combo with Debris. And I'm also going to have Debris and Viper and Black Widow in my deck, so I can do either one. And then I'm going to play Hazmat and Annihilus, and you're going to get all the junk, and that's that. Junk will survive. I'm starting the junk revolution.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Anyways.
That was a fire. That was a fire rant.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
So
it reminds me of they changed Mantis and Cable, right? And it like, why are you nerfing Mantis and Cable?
Yeah,
like Mantis and Cable were bad cards and they nerfed them.
Yep.
It's like Viper was a maybe average card and they nerfed her. Like I just like this whole thing with it's on curve. Like the curve is what we want it to be. Like the hood makes a 1 power demon. Like that a Viper plus demon, like that's 3 power. That's a good curve.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to put her to 3. Like you don't have to do it for us. We could pass one. We could float 1 mana. Let me see if a Savage Land pops up on the 3rd location. Let me float. Let me play something else on 2. You know what I mean? Like this is ridiculous. So
the one time
they did it with Mantis, Cable, and now Viper, and I really don't love it.
The one time I got that combo, and it was only once with the Viper and Havoc. The other player beat me because of it. The Havoc went over there, ended up in 8, and I lost because I sent him the Havoc over. So that goes to show you. Yeah. It's like, really isn't all that great. It didn't really do that great of a job. So I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it's one of those things, we mentioned earlier about some other decks that they just don't want popular. And it's that whole thing. And, I'll go back to my boy in Galactus. God forbid people don't, if you can't play your cards on turn 6, it's, oh no, we can't play my cards on turn 6. So this was just a stupid change.
But I mean, like putting Viper to 2 costs is not going to push junk into the upper echelons of like S tier. Like, what the hell are they? I don't get it. They're making like okay cards worse. Yeah. This is stupid. Anyways, I hope 3-5. All that being said, like 3-5 is not a bad stat line. I mean, it's all right, but it's nice to have a 3-5 with like an upside, which is like not something we really see. But this is like it just needs to be 2 costs. I think. I
agree.
Anyways, and then no big deal. Kind of touched on this. Celine, one was a 1 -1. Now it's a 1/2. They gave it 3 power. I mean, it's a better card. I played with Celine a bunch after this.
It's better for sure. I agree. Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice having the 2 power. It's not like a liability in case you don't draw. Your Annihilus. It's kind of a cool card. I haven't tried it in like bounce list to be like really annoying. That might be interesting with like bounce and goblins and stuff because like you're not just leaving a -1 on the board. But I'll agree with no big deal in that like it kind of loses the flavor a little bit. You know? It kind of was cool having it as like a negative card and it's like a looming threat. Like your opponent's like shit, and they sometimes play suboptimally as well. Like they're trying to fill that lane so that you don't shove it over to you. And if would have been nice to play this on 1 and Viper on 2 on curve, but we won't go there again.
Well, Widow too. Yeah, hit the Widow's Bite.
Yeah,
that'd been fun.
Exactly, but yeah. So I don't know. I like this change. I like it.
Yeah, I don't love it, and it is a buff. And my main issue with it is kind of like what you were saying with them being a little bit out of touch. Like most of the sweaty, good meta, top tier junk stuff was let's cut most of the junk cards and just put Hood, Sentry, and Annihilus, and that's it. And like this doesn't change any of that. It's to me that's very boring. And like it's fine, like it's fun. Like I like Sentry Annihilus. Don't get me wrong. I've played these decks. Like they're fun. I love Annihilus as a card. Like don't get me wrong. I'm just saying like you pigeonhole the deck building completely. Like I wanted someone to cook some crazy junk shit. And like if you don't like Celine, maybe make her do -4 on both. Like I would prefer that as a change. -4, -4, or make her a -3, or just something where she's even more like Celine, like, you know what I mean? Rather than she's kind of some Iceman Spider-Ham. She's just another Iceman Spider-Ham at this point. And that's like super boring to me. So I think it's a good change for Celine, but I think it's a bad change for the game overall. I think it makes the game more boring to me.
Yeah, I agree. It's not great. I mean, I was all over this. We were laughing before the show started because I was all over this card for. I'm like, oh, this is fantastic for Galactus, baby. Yeah. Throw this in here. The goblins go up to 6. The green will be a 3/6, and then the other one will be a 4/11. Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. The problem is with that, you have to establish priority. And her at a 1/2 is giving you no help. So that's why a lot of times you had Nebula in there, because at least you're getting Nebula down. You're gaining a couple of levels on the Nebula, and you're getting some priority. But if you don't have that, it didn't work at all. So I kind of think that I still don't think she's going to see that much play. The stuff like you guys are saying that you're seeing with Annihilus now is you see that Annihilus bounce list that's going around. You see just Annihilus and Hood in the deck, and it's like I don't think that this change is going to make people play it more than it was. If everything else was what it was, and like you had already mentioned, if Viper was left alone and was a 2, she definitely would have seen more play at that point. But now I really don't think she's going to see much more play being a 1/2. It doesn't hurt you now, but also it doesn't fit the junk theme anymore either. So it's like, okay, it's going to make negative stuff, but and what I found too when I was messing around with it, what if you don't get the goblins? You want to put her out just as a 1/2. Now she's making another one of your cards worse. So I
saw Regis today. He did morph as a answer to that, but I don't know if that's a good long-term answer.
Yeah, it's really
if it hits morph, then he gets his power back after he morphs. So it's okay to hit morph or a goblin.
She literally hit my Professor X in my deck 4 times. I'm like, great. Well, that's not playable now. He's a -1 or -2. I'm like, I can't play that anymore. So yeah, it just didn't work. So I don't think many people will play the card, which is a shame. It seemed like a cool concept, and it would have been for the junk stuff if it was left go. But yeah, I don't think it's going to see much play.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if people are just playing like Ravonna Goblin stuff, then it's kind of a cool 1-drop to put in, because it is a 1-drop after all, so you can just throw it like kind of like you just pepper it in any turn,
Yep.
Next one's Electra. Was a 1/1, now is a 1/2. My thoughts are okay. That's about it.
It's very meh. This whole stuff with the early game, I get it. This is
me too.
This is something that they use to teach you how to have. I think it's to have priority, to kill opponents 1/1 cards or whatever the case might be. So it's fine. I love Electra the character. I wish she had a bit of a better card, but it's fine for what it is. I'm okay with it.
I think I agree with both of you on this being a meh change. This is a straight up meh change. Like, it's whatever. Like, how niche was Electra to begin with? I don't think the 1 power does a whole lot, but she could hit something before Kyra comes down, I guess. Like, what 1-drop are you really targeting? It has to be like a Sunspot, I guess.
Sunspot or Nebula.
Are you snapping on that? Like, I'm going to hit the Sunspot, I'll snap. Like, I don't know. That doesn't sound great. But yeah.
D Money was playing Electra as an answer to Black Knight. He was playing a lot of Black Knight decks.
Oh, there you
go.
So
he was playing the 1/1 Electra and just throwing it in, owning the Black Knight decks, because they see Black Knight and then just Electra, and that's it. It ruins their whole game plan.
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
So that beats usage. But as far as the early game stuff goes, I don't love that whole mindset and discussion personally. I think you give the early players good cards to play with. I think the game, just balance the game. If it's pool 1, pool 2, pool 3, series 5, I don't give a shit what series the card is in. I think they should strive to balance all the cards. And I think people who first start playing the game, they're not idiots. Like, people aren't stupid. Like, by the time you're 2-3 weeks into the game, if you got the shitty pool 1 or 2 cards, you run into a Wong on the ladder. Like, you know what time it is. Like, you shouldn't be like, okay, I show up I just got a series 3. This guy has Wong, and I get my shit kicked in. You know what I mean? Like, that's not good. But if the pool 1 and 2 cards were good, then you give the players that are new a chance to actually build a usable deck with the cards that they got. Their cards are balanced, so they're good. Maybe they could build some like half decent zoo deck or something, and they could actually go in there and compete. And I think as a new player, that feels really good. And you're beating these meta decks with some shitty pool 2 cards. Like that to me feels like a great new player experience. I don't like, we got to make the pool 1 and 2 card shit to teach them how to play. They could learn how to play with good cards. What difference does it make? It's fucking ridiculous. I hate it. So I'm all for like let's give the new players like, you know, so we got to fix the pool 3 problem, right? That's the main issue in Marvel Snap, and I think giving them good cards that they get in pool 1 and 2 is a nice step towards that problem that isn't going to take any money out of second inners' pockets. If anything, it's going to make them more money because they're not going to quit the game after getting wrecked by Wong in pool 3 or like Doctor Doom or something like this. They're the cards they don't have, you know?
Yeah, that's a great point. I talked about on my the show that I did yesterday, just a 20 minute thing where I went over all these, and it was like, I almost kind of wish, and you know, being a comic fan, you see a lot of these characters that they have several different variants of, and not just card variants, but they're actually just different. Like the Ultimate line of Marvel Ultimate characters were always different from the regular ones. The Elektra is different, Captain America is different, so it's almost like you want to do that, and because to your point, you're never going to see a good Elektra in the game. You're not. You're never going to see a good Captain America in the game. You're not, which is stupid because he's one of the most iconic characters in Marvel. And you're never going to see that card be good. Same with Punisher. Yeah, they upped him a little bit, but he still sucks. So you're never going to see those cards be good because they're, like you said, they're entry-level player cards. But yeah, I 100% agree. I think, like, you know, I went back and I started a free-to-play account. I just wanted to see. I'm like, let me go back and try to get that feel of the game again from the you know, the first time I played. And what you're talking about is exactly what you run into. By the time you get done with pool 1 and pool 2, you get to pool 3, and it's all luck of the draw and what you get. You're going up against, like you said, you're going up against Wong decks. You're going up against Destroy decks that have all the cards for them, and you're losing every game. So, yeah, I agree with that. I think that would solve a lot of the stuff, and you're right. I think that's a thing that they want the game to keep going. They have to make those better, and then you have a thing where you can then take these cards and turn them into much better cards than what they already are.
Yeah, I had a thought. I agree. I agree with you completely. I mean, I had a thought the other day of like how to help pool 3. This was one of my ideas, is that like if you're series 3 incomplete, I mean, second inner can do the math or whatever it is you know, every like 5 you know caches on the collection track you open, or like where you would have opened a pool 3 card, like every second or every like third one, you just get 1,000 tokens. And then they have a shop that's like, here's the series 3 shop. Choose your card wherever you want. It's 1,000 tokens. So that way you get random cards, but then like every third one or whatever, where you would have got a random card, they just give you 1,000 tokens. And then once your series 3 complete, you don't get the tokens anymore. And that way, you know, at least every third one, you can be like, all right, they can choose like, oh, I want Sarah, I want, you know, whatever.
Yeah, Venom.
I want Wong, whatever they want. Venom, yeah. Like then you could choose not just a random, and then it gives them at least some agency, where that, you know, you're not having, you know, this bloated pool that's going to keep just having more and more cards, and then people are just like, this sucks. I have Human Torch, but I can't do anything with it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like I thought that was a cool, thing that I thought of, that, like, you know, I don't think it would, you know, to me, I think that if people have more cards to play with, they're going to want to play the game more. They're going to want to spend more money on the game
and progress further. And you're releasing new cards anyway, so it's already brutal, like, you know, so. You know, give people choice. They play the stuff they like. It fits their play style, like every other card game, like Magic, like you're saying, Joe. If you want to build the discard deck, you could just build the discard deck. Same in Yu-Gi-Oh! I just play Yu-Gi-Oh! If I want to play a deck, if I want to play frogs, I buy the frog cards. You know, like and now I'm playing frogs. It's a great time. So, you know, I don't know why we don't have that in Marvel Snap, but it doesn't have to be random cards. And I think it's much better for the newer players for sure.
No, I agree.
And
I agree. Yep, absolutely.
All right, Dazzler. Here's a big one. That's actually a pretty good change. Was it 3-2? Now it's a 2-2. I think this is a pretty cool change. I like how they did this. They took you know, this is the right approach. They took a shit card and they made it better. You know, this was like a 3/8 with like a ridiculous, ask. You have to fill up your whole board to get a 3/8, or you can just play Chattiator and get a 3/8 90% of the time.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, we got to make this card a 2. So it's cool now as a 2. Like maybe this makes zoo lists, maybe this makes, and it's ongoing. So maybe it's like a zoo spectrum. I don't know, who knows? But it's really nice. And I've seen people even like with monkey dump lists. I think Hoagland had one.
Bass Patriot. He made a Bass Patriot list. Yeah. That delicious pick.
I saw someone else play a similar kind of type of deck where it's like you just fill it up and it could be a 2/8 with Mysterio and stuff, and you got Bishop going, and it's cool. It's a cool card now. I like it. I'm happy they did this.
Yeah, I like this change a lot. I think Dazzler's like semi legit now. It's funny she started off as a 4 power where she got the Shadow King treatment. Just keep bringing her down until she's viable. But this is kind of what I'm talking about with Joe. You brought up Captain America and Punisher. I think Captain America and Punisher can be a Dazzler level power. They don't have to be the best cards in the game. I think even now Dazzler's as conditional 2/8 is not the best card in the game, but like Punisher could be like a conditional 3/10 or something. Like maybe he's a 3/1 that gets +2 for each card on the other side. So we could do this with Punisher. We could do this with Captain America. They're not going to break the game. They're just going to be a little bit stronger. Dazzler's like playable sometimes now in certain decks, and I think that's a great thing. I think she's an interesting card now for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad to see this. And this card's been one of those ones that went up and down the ladder, and it almost seemed like they just didn't know what to do with it. But I think this is a good change. Making her cost less. I had her in some decks at some point, and it just never was worth the cost almost. So yeah, no, and I agree with all your points. It's just it shows that they can examine these other cards and make it so that you improve them, but yet it's not like crazy where, like you were saying, where it's going to break something. So yeah, no, I like this. I think this was a good one.
Yeah, I love it. It's funny. She used to be the meme, like, remember many months ago when they had like series drops and stuff, and she was like a 4 cost, and she was like series 5. You're like, please don't let me pull down in the track. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
Landmine.
Yeah, exactly. Then we have Hercules, 4/6 to a 4/7. So, I mean, really good stat line. A 4/7 is pretty cool. I mean, it's a good stat line. And they say they want our goal is to remain. They want move cards to be 4 cost. They want a good 4 cost move card. I don't agree. I think that they should make this a 3, and I think that they should not let the opponent's card ruin the Hercules move as well. It should be like 1 card per person per turn or whatever. I think that'll go a long way of making this card better. But I mean, 4/7, sure. Is this the fastest buff ever in the history of something that came out last week for Hercules? There's like 4. They already buffed them. But yeah, so it's all right. I mean, in the Revis's list, it seems to be okay some of the time. I don't know if there's other cards that are better than it. Like, is Heimdall just better? I don't know, maybe, but he's fun sometimes. But yeah, I don't think he's still great, but this is a little bit better. To me, I think he needs to be a 3 cost to make him viable in competitive decks. But maybe the next change, he doesn't need to be a 3 with the next card we talk about. But yeah, man. This is okay. I don't think it's going to do much, but sure. They buffed Hercules less than a week after release. Nice.
What do you think? What do you think, Joe?
I agree. I would have gone 3 with him instead. Go the other direction. I would have made him a 3/5, maybe even instead of a 4/7. I don't think the power is going to do all that much for it because I don't know. It'll like you were saying, it'll end up in move decks. People will mess around with it a little bit. But I still don't know if it's going to be a great one in that, fitting in that deck. But yeah, I would rather see it go to 3 instead of the 4/7. So I agree with that.
I don't know why they would say we need a 4 cost move. The most popular archetype in this game is Destroy. They don't have a 4 cost. I mean, maybe Shang-Chi. Maybe, but Shang-Chi's mostly played in decks that aren't Destroy, and most Destroy lists don't even play Shang-Chi these days. So, like, why, like, and that's people's favorite deck to play. It's the most popular deck currently in the game, and has been for months, right? So, People love Destroy. It doesn't have a 4 cost, and there's a reason for that. You want to play multiple cards on turn 4 and 5 in a Destroy list. You want to play Null and Deadpool on turn 6. You know, so you want to play multiple cards, and I think Move is really interesting archetype because it's the same thing. You got a bunch of 1s, 2s, and 3s, and I think you want to be playing combos on 4 and 5. You want to be playing, you know, Cloak and Ghost Spider. You want to be playing Craven Cloak as a nice turn 4. Why do we need a 4 cost? I don't know. I get if you don't want just say you don't want Hercules to be too broken. Like, say we think he'll be busted at 3, so we're not going to do that. Okay, I'm okay with that. We tested it at 3. It's ridiculous, guys. We're not doing it. Okay, cool. But like, we need a 4 cost move. No, you don't. You tried that with 2099. It's horseshit. It doesn't work. And Herc doesn't need to be 4 either. You don't have a 4 in Destroy, and that's people's favorite deck. So why, like, you know. I don't know. This is just a little real weird reasoning, but actually, like, don't hate this change overall.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, yeah, Destroy does not. I don't know why they want like a 4 cost.
It doesn't need one.
Strategic options across more costs is key for ensuring we have a lot of gameplay variety. How about you make it a 3 cost so that you can play 1,000 more? There's 1,000 more lines to play, which
more
is
variety.
More variety than like slamming down a 4/7 and then like, yeah,
that's it.
You know,
that's a good point.
It opens moving Doctor Strange to it too opened up way more gameplay variety. Like it's the tough deck to play now with Doctor Strange at 2, but it feels really good when you whip out some sick combos. You know.
Yeah, Ghost Spider at 1. You know, they always have to lower these move cards because like they're just too they're too clunky. You do need move is just so combo oriented. You can't have these big clunky cards.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, and even like, sure, they say like if they think it's going to be broken at 3 just do it for a week. Who cares? If it's broken, they OTA it the next week, you know? It's not that big of a deal. Then, all right, sorry, this broke the game for a week. We're sorry. We tried to make Hercules, you know, good.
It's not like it hasn't happened
I still prefer if he hit each card once over 3. I don't like personally need it out of 3, but I get why people want that for sure. I don't know. If they test it as broken. I hate the fact that, like you said, Kid, if an opponent's card moves in and now my Hercules is dead and I wasted 4 energy on it. I mean, it's sad days, you know. So I hate that. Like, still flies in there and cuts me. Like, I hate it.
Yeah, you expect it to have like a space in that lane, and you just clog yourself unbeknownst to you. You're like, damn. And then this next card, this might be bigger than the blob change. I don't know. I'm happy, and maybe this is why they took it a little bit easy on Hercules because they're like, move's gonna be broken pretty soon. Dagger was a 2/2 when it moves to location +2 power. Now it's a 2/0 when this moves to location +3 power for each enemy card there. I've been playing with this since release. This card is insane. I very, very easily get it to 20 power pretty consistently. Second dinner, every time they've released something that gives +3 power, it's always been nerfed. You know, always. There's Silver Surfer initially. There was Elsa Bloodstone, and I think Forge at one point was a +3, and he was a 2 cost, right?
Yeah.
And then he just got broken with Brood and stuff. You know, they played Forge as a 2 cost on 2, and then Brood on 3, and it was ridiculous, right? So this is +3. I mean, I hope they keep this. It seems like a pretty broken card, but move sucks so much. It can't compete with anything that, you know, other than the people that are really good at move, that just live and die by move. Yes, it's good for them. You know, move is good for them. But like, you know, when you have, you know, random scrubs like us trying to play, this is nice. I love it. It's fun. I love this change. I'm so happy.
You think this might end up in decks where you just have Ghost Spider and her? And it makes me wonder. Because especially for all the lanes that get full now, and if Blob still stays relevant in any way, where they're still playing Thanos and they're filling their lanes, you know, if you just have her in there, put her on one lane and swing her over to the other lane the next turn or even the same turn, and she's going to be a 2/12. I mean, that's pretty good for 4. Or no, Ghost Spider's what, a 1, right? Ghost Spider's a 1 and then a 2. I mean, that's pretty good. Yeah, she's gonna be brutal. People that play move decks and use that, and I was saying earlier, you move that to 2 locations, and if those locations have, even if they're 3 cards, she easily goes over 20. And for a 2, that's insane. I'm pretty happy with this for a few reasons. I actually love Cloak and Dagger. They're actually two of my favorite comic book personalities.
Mhm.
I remember them from the old 8-bit Spider-Man game that used to be in the arcades back in the day, the Maximum Carnage game. They were in that. And I loved it. They even had a really bad show that I remember was on TV for a while that I actually watched. It was one of those tweener shows that was on, but I watched it because I like the characters. But this is gonna be fun. And you're saying that you were trying it. I'm definitely gonna give this a try. And I'm not a move player, but I want to see this scale, and I think she's gonna be really, really, really. Whether or not they might have to change it, we'll have to see, and they might. But this is going to be a big card, I think.
Yeah, and I got to give a shout out to Phoenix Force 2. Like Phoenix Force decks just got way more interesting. They were super linear and kind of boring before, in my opinion. You either get the multiple man of the torch or you don't, or you retreat. Maybe Shuri Nimrod, but Dagger adds a whole new element. I mean, you Phoenix this card, it's just absolutely absurd. You get a Hercules down. I mean, it's just out of control. You could throw a Tribunal at the end. I've played that a little bit, and it's pretty nasty and pretty consistent too. You have 4 destroy cards and 3 move cards, so you're pretty much getting the combo. You just have to draw your Phoenix Force. I saw a deck where they jammed all of those cards in and still managed to get Shuri Nimrod as well in the deck, and that might be the optimal one to play. So you're pretty much always doing something pretty nasty every single game. You just need either a Phoenix or a Shuri by turn 4. You get one of those two, you have way too much gas on turns 1, 2, and 3 in your deck. You got like 7 cards in your deck that you just need any combo of 2 of them, and you're just crushing. So that's pretty interesting. People are about to get dagger dicked down. This dagger card is just insane. I did a little bit of a pun, but yeah, I mean, this is this card's crazy. This is the new blob, and if you're not ready for the dagger, like you better get ready. Like this thing could get up to 50. Like my buddy Stanky Kang sent me a screenshot today. He's like, "Here's a 50 power dagger." Like he just started playing the deck. So yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it like regularly is more than an infinite. I mean, I guess the one thing we were kind of talking about this a little before, but like there's no really no Shadow King in the meta, so if there is Shadow King that comes back, if this gets too overpowered, then you can just Shadow King this early. It's not like a lot of the time, not always, because if you pull it to a full lane, then that's it. It stays there and you win, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just especially like in like Revis's list though too. Like it's a bounce list. You just I've bounced it back a few times, and it's like a 112 that's like in my hand, and I'm like, and I have like a 0 cost, Ghost Spider or Iron Fist, and you're like, oh, or you already have a cloak or something. It's wild.
Oh, one thing too, because you're bringing up some cool combos. A lot of people are gonna be talking about the patch this week already, right? So if we want to get a little bit of spice for the future, the Grandmaster is coming out pretty soon, and I like Ghost Spider, Grandmaster Ghost Spider. Like I'm just saying, all these move decks, like you want to reuse these effects. Like you could do 2 cloaks, you cloak, and then you cloak the middle. You could do just simply turn 2 dagger. Turn 3, Ghost Spider Grandmaster. That's a fruit, back to the middle, You don't need, everyone's going to be thinking of Wong. We got this on reveal card. We're going to abuse Wong, put him in the middle. Bro, you throw this Grandmaster in a discard deck, just a basic discard deck. Now you could just Blade again or Lady Civ again. You could throw it in a move deck. All the move effects are sick. You Doctor Strange, you use your Grandmaster on Doctor Strange. Back to the middle. I think that's going to be actually a pretty interesting piece in the move decks as well. Grandmaster specifically. All these are on reveal effects. Even some of them use Werewolf too. I've seen one with Werewolf as well. So yeah, I think he might be a little spicy in these decks too. You get some just crazy.
Yeah, cut Hercules.
Cut Hercules. Yeah. Get rid of the 4/7. Yeah, Grandmaster I think is going to be the best card of the month. I do. I think Grandmaster is going to be the best card. I think people are going to find ways to abuse it. It's going to end up in bounce decks, and bounce I think is going to have a major comeback. You just talked about Dagger being in bounce. If they figure that out, and then Grandmaster's in there too, yeah, it's gonna bounce is going to come back in a big way. But yeah, Grandmaster is going to be a sick card. I think I really do, but.
Yeah, I'm doing Grandmaster bounce junk. Sorry, second dinner. It's happening. I'm clogging all the lanes. Doesn't matter.
Go.
Yeah,
And I'm putting
Widow's
hazmats
bites,
so my
baby.
Annihilus works. Exactly.
That's awesome.
Debris.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Debris into debris.
I'm doing debris into debris, and then hazmat, and then Annihilus.
I love that.
Yeah. Debris into Grandmaster hazmat into Annihilus.
Yeah.
See ya.
Oh,
I'm already
man.
playing like a Annihilus
Yeah.
hazmat junk deck that I've been playing the last few days. I actually didn't talk about that before. It's a hilarious deck. It's so much fun.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah. Anyways, overall, I think these are secondary did a great job. These are
Yeah,
all
I
good
agree.
changes, except for the Viper one's really stupid. But aside from that, all of them are great. Blob was very elegant. I love that change. The meta is really fun right now, so they did a great job.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of the things that, and people, if they complain about the meta now, I think it could be because it's harder to play when you don't expect the deck. When you know it's going to be one deck all the time, everybody's playing it. Now, that's not the case. You're seeing a lot of different decks. And so it does make it a little harder because it's harder to prepare. If your deck doesn't have stuff that you can contend with that, then it's a harder game to play. But I think it does make it more fun. It makes it more fun to play because when you see, even if you get beat, I mean, I know I'm not going to be upset about getting beat by a 24-point dagger. I'm just going to tip my cap to the dude and be like, yeah, here's your cue. That's pretty cool. I'll see you later. So.
Yeah. If I start seeing like an inked dagger, these inked move players, kind of like the inked gold discard players, I'm just going to leave.
That's it. Yep.
I'm just going to see. I see like the Iron Fist that's inked or gold with crackle. I'm just going to.
I know what you're doing.
And I'm like, you win.
Yep.
I don't even want to. Or I'll donate the cubes just because I respect that grind.
Yeah.
All right, let's. Sorry, Joe. We're like an hour and a half in. I feel bad. I don't want to take too
all
much of your
good,
time.
dude.
All right, good. Let's go into the AI decks. This is
Oh,
gonna be
man.
fun. I love this. And then no big deal. You have to explain them all to the people again.
Okay, if you want, Joe, how do you feel about Nary? We could take turns if you want. I mean, I'll take the first one, but let me know on the second one if you want to do a little bit of ASMR narration on the
That might be
pictures.
fun.
But yeah, let's try to guess it first.
Yeah,
Let's see what
let's go.
happens.
All right. Here it is. I'm pulling up. He's gonna be the first one.
Oh,
I just have it in a Word doc.
Oh,
what do you think, Joe? I'm thinking Lockjaw.
that's
I don't
what
know.
came to my mind first too. Is Lockjaw. I mean, he kind of looks like Lockjaw. He's got definitely a hound of some kind there, but it's kind of like an Egyptian thing going on there too. But yeah, I don't know. Lockjaw is what came to my mind first.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it's a certain kind of Lockjaw, because like you said, it's got like the Egyptian theme. So, I mean, it's not Thanos Lockjaw. Oh, maybe it is Thanos, because he's kind of purple.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the purple. Yeah, that's a good call.
I don't know.
Yeah, could be Thanos Lockjaw.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Thanos Lockjaw, kid? What do you think?
Nailed it. Thanos.
Nice.
Lockjaw. This is a one and
Nice.
done too. This one I typed in Thanos Lockjaw. This is the first image that came up. I'm like, you know what? I think they can get this. This is gonna
one's
be good.
definitely, yeah, it was a good
All right.
one.
Well, Joe already helped out the audio listeners quite a bit, but let me build on what he was saying. So we got this kind of Egyptian themed Sphinx pose Lockjaw. He's locked in. He's got the purple paint on his snoot, as they say, a good doggle with his snoot painted purple lipstick too. He's got the fully iced out neck right here. There's more than 4 Infinity Stones on that thing. I mean, he's got like 20 Infinity Stones on that neck. He's iced out. He's rocking heavy. He's got his muscles. He's a muscly, good boy, and he's ready to cycle through the deck and within the beautiful Middle Eastern sky.
I love it. Oh, all right. You guys nailed the first one. I love it. All right. The second one, if you don't get it, I have a hint, but it's all right. Here's the second one.
Joe, what do you think?
Man. Wow. Okay. Well, let's see. I'm thinking, I mean, could it be Sarah? Oh, no, wait. No, I'm betting this is tough because you got a female. It's just like a female Black Knight almost with the black armor.
Yeah, I was thinking Black Knight as well. Yeah.
So it looks like, could it be? Yeah. I mean, maybe could it be Black Knight? Is it Black Knight? Was there a Sarah Black Knight list? Could it be Black Knight Sarah?
Yeah. Yeah. Is that the Suns?
It's got a pretty.
Number
You
one.
guys are
Southeast
very,
Asia.
very close.
Oh man,
Okay, so it's Black Knight something.
Black Knight
then.
Hella.
We gotta, yeah.
Is it Black Knight Hella?
Yes.
Nice,
nailed it.
Joe. Sick.
Yes.
All right,
This
wait.
is the hint, just in
Oh,
case.
there you go.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, Joe crushed
This
it.
kind of looks more like Hella,
Yeah, with
I
the
guess.
green.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I had to type in a couple
pretty-
of them.
that's pretty-
But this one came up. This is a
that's
pretty cool
that's
image.
pretty
Yeah.
badass art. I like it.
Joe, you want to describe the image for the audio listeners?
Sure, let's go. Let's see. She's got all black
Yes.
armor, some spiky shoulder pads, horns on the top of her head, a sword that looks kind of like Excalibur a little bit, glowing blue on the sides. She's in front of looks like a wasteland with all black and red in the back, buildings and stuff. We got rocks coming off the ground. So there's been some destruction going on here. Very apocalyptic looking, but also kind of very RPG looking. So I kind of dig it. And then in the back, we've got two large, looks like castles back there too. So all in all, it's pretty awesome art. I kind of dig it. I like it.
Well done.
Yeah,
Well done,
I love
Joe.
it. Joe, that was
Great.
amazing. That
Yeah.
was amazing.
You gotta respect the
And
audience.
it
People
was
listen in the car, you know. We gotta
Well,
talk.
well, that's the thing. I talk to myself on podcasts a lot. So, hey, I'm good at describing things maybe. That's what comes out that way. So there you go.
Boom.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it. You're very good. It's amazing. I love it. And I love the smooth jazz too.
The
It's so
jazz
cool.
thing I found in the back. Yeah, I thought this is kind of calming.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I don't even know if it's jazz, but I feel like I'm in like
Yeah,
a
it
little
is.
jazz bar
Yeah.
every time I listen. I'm like,
Yep.
this is great. I want to like have like a whiskey, you know, and sit down and listen to Joe. It's great.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one here. There it is.
Oh, so we're at the dump. We got a car wreck here. Car's getting wrecked.
This has to be
this-
junk.
Junk. This is
And
junk.
this-
Yeah.
It's junk. It's junk.
Oh
So, yeah.
man.
Not too much for the audio listeners here. I mean, this is the dump. I mean, this is where our trash gets piled up. There's broken cars everywhere. There's junk everywhere. It's just a normal sunny day. Just a regular. It's the landfill in the summer. Just that AI just gave us that image.
Yeah, actually, you know what? This took me a while to get to this image. The AI at first, when I typed in like junk and stuff, it was giving me like a car by like the water. I was like, "What the hell is this? This is like this is like junk."
You're lucky you didn't
But
get
yeah,
something
anyways.
way worse than that. And put into
Yeah,
something
exactly.
junk.
That's true.
That would have been
great.
funny. That would have been a lot
That's
funnier.
awesome.
All right, next one. This one's a little bit out there.
Looks like Ant-Man, right? I don't know, right?
It's definitely some kind of bug we got going on, and he's playing cards.
Oh, this is this the Miek deck, but like with Gambit, like Gambit Miek,
Oh, that's a good
that deck.
call.
Like, I don't know what you call that.
That's a good
The
call.
Jiminy Cricket, his deck. Like,
Gambit Wong discard maybe. Yeah.
yeah.
You guys are
Is
good.
that what?
Nice.
Yeah. That's like a Meek discard.
Yeah.
That's great. This looks nothing like Meek. No big deal. Explain. I want you to
Yeah,
go
this
through
one
this
will be good.
All right. Well, the guy sitting down at so he's sitting on the floor. It's a white floor. This room's like when they put you in a straitjacket, they throw you in the padded room. That's basically like what it looks like, the room that he's sitting in. And but it's not padded, so it's actually even worse. And there's a guy that looks like a ant or some sort of insect sitting down, like a character from Bug's Life, but probably like a villain from the movie Bug's Life. And he's sitting down. He's kind of lanky, and he's playing cards. Looks like he's playing solitaire type of card because he's playing by himself. But the cards are going everywhere. He's losing his mind a little bit. Understandably, he's in isolation, and it's understandable. But he still looks good doing it. So yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with for the audio listeners.
Oh, I love it. Perfect.
That's awesome.
Nailed it.
Couldn't have done any better with that one. That's fantastic.
That's great. All right, this one's a little bit out there as well. I think we got like three more or so, but this one will come with a hint if you don't get it. But maybe.
Oh man.
I'm thinking Jean Grey. I don't know.
Grey
For some
is the
reason,
first thing that
Jean
came
Grey
up
is
to
coming to my
too.
mind. I don't
Yep,
know.
Jean Grey.
Yeah.
Jean Grey, Professor X. Jean Grey.
Yeah, like a lockdown. Yeah, Jean Grey,
like
lockdown. I don't know.
lockdown. I mean, she's kind of got a head like the leader a little bit, no? Like with the big brain on the top too. Could it be? I mean, nobody plays leader anymore though, so I would think, I don't know, man. Jean Grey, Professor X. I don't know. I like the Jean Grey Professor X lockdown.
We might need a hint. We might need a hint for this one, kid.
All right,
yeah.
I'll tell you. I'll show you the hint, but I'll also tell you it has nothing to do with Jean Grey.
We're way off base then. All right.
This is a popular deck.
My bad.
A deck archetype, I'll say.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the big brain, the head was a good.
There's Prof X, right?
This is the
gotta
hint,
be Prof X. What do we have Prof X with lately? I mean, I know I've been playing it with Galactus. There's no way that's a Galactus.
Here's your hint. Prof X is not in the deck.
Oh, damn.
He's just the hint for the.
Jeez, wow.
We're struggling with this one. I'm just gonna say lockdown as my guess.
Professor X uses something.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
He puts it on his head.
Oh, Cerebro.
Man.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Damn.
All right.
That one was not good. Honestly, I could not, for the life of me. I spent like 15 minutes trying to get the AI to show me an image of actual Cerebro or something that looks like it, and it kept giving me like people with big heads the entire time. I was even like Cerebro from X-Men with Professor X, and I was like, give me Professor X. I'm like, oh my god.
I mean, that's cool.
All right, Joe, you want to do a quick one for the audio listeners?
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Well, let's see. We've got a very beautiful woman here with blue eyes. She's got like a metal plate pretty much over her forehead and the side of her head, which covers like her ears. Up on top, it does really literally look like a big ball of energy that's connected to the plate in the front. And you can see she's got pink hair. It's coming out the back end of that. And then over the top of the big pink thing that looks like the brain, you've got almost like it's like yellow, fiery type energy coming out of the top. So it kind of does look like they're wearing some sort of like a telepathic helmet and stuff like that. So it's cool. I like the artwork. It's neat.
Sorry.
That was a great description.
That was great.
Awesome.
I apologize to Cerebro. Sorry, I couldn't get you, buddy.
All right, I think we got a couple more.
It's Agatha. Come on.
Yes. I wouldn't have got that. I actually wouldn't have got that.
Man. She even looks like her. Let's go. She's got the long brown hair with the books and the spells and the candles and let's go, man.
Yeah, that's one. The AI nailed it right away. I think it was like first take.
Well, I spend so much time with her. I mean, I spend more time with her on weekends than I do my wife. Let's go.
That's great.
Oh man, yeah, I love it.
All right, so the next one is going to be the last one, but it comes with a hint. But the first image is almost like a hint towards the deck. You'll see what I mean.
Okay. Okay. So we got this. I'll just start describing it. Or go ahead, Joe.
Say it's got to be a knight, right? Black Knight, would that be? I mean, it's not really black though.
Well, we had Black Knight already, right? So
how about like
I think, right?
Maybe a Valkyrie? It's go ahead. Go ahead and describe it though. Yeah, this one looks like it might be tough.
Yeah, I'll describe
it. Might help you out more, actually.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, so we got like a knight guy. He's kneeling in what looks like the throne room. He's like bowing down to the king, and they got the big windows, like cathedral-like windows, kind of beaming in there. All right, now I got to start thinking of decks.
Focus more on his action and what this person's doing.
Kneeling, baby. Is it Galactus?
Yes.
So the hint is a picture of Galactus.
Let's go.
This is also for Joe. Because I was gonna just do a straight up Galactus.
Oh, that would
have
been
easy.
yeah.
But I'm like, what can I do that's like a little bit off kilter?
That's so funny. That's so funny because literally, anytime if I see somebody post something with Galactus, I'll write. First thing I write is kneel. First thing I write.
Yeah,
yep.
I see that.
Yep. That's fantastic, dude. Love it.
That's
awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's all I got. That's fun. I love
that's
that.
a great
that's
game,
hilarious.
dude. I love that, man. That's really fun. It
Yeah,
really
it's
is.
fun.
It's fun. Yeah, I shout out to the Snapping, R.I.P. But they did that one time, and I asked them like, "Yo, can I do this?" Because it's hilarious.
Yeah,
I
that's
love it.
Yeah, it really
This
is.
fun.
That's awesome. I love it. Makes you think, man. I like it. I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it.
All right. A couple more things, then we'll be done. We'll wrap up quickly, as I feel bad.
No
Honestly.
worries, man.
Yeah, let's get into this pay to win stuff real quick because
So now, just for the people, if you go to the Marvel Snap website and you go to the shop, the NuVerse shop, you have if you buy the season. Oh, I should. Is it not sharing on here?
Oh, that's all right.
Let's see. Oh, it made a new tab. Sorry.
That's all good.
Oh, that's okay. So you go to the Marvel Snap website.
It's NuVerse actually, but it's Marvel Snap by NuVerse or something. It's called Yeah,
if you go to the Marvel Snap website and then you go to the shop, it's like it takes you to the NuVerse website.
Okay.
And this is where you have like the pay to win collection track. So if you spend any money on the game, you get points, and then you can get like free variants and stuff like that. But right now they're running a promotion, which is where is it? It's not on here. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's
this
this one.
It's like a collection tree almost.
Vibranium powered offers. So you get 100 credits for free, lizard boosters for free. Then you pay $3.99 American, and then you get 500 credits and this pretty sweet Shuri Wakanda avatar cool and variant. And then you keep going, and there's more, and then you get like more free credits and free boosters, and then I think the next one's $10 for 1,200 credits, and the lizard variant,
lizard, which is probably the coolest looking one. Yeah.
And I think that's where it's pretty worth it to get like those if you want to spend money. And then there's like a $30 Sauron variant with like 4,000 tokens or something. And then a Red Skull variant for like $50 with like I don't know how many 6,000 tokens. I don't know how many tokens, but
the Red Skull is the one for the albums actually too. It's the Venomized one. So if people don't have it, if you don't, I already have it. But if people don't have it, that's another thing you could do too if you're collecting them.
Oh, nice. That's an album.
I got the Dan Hip one, and I probably am not going to finish any of the others unless they come out with new ones.
I'm a Jim Lee stan, so
Jim
I had
Lee
to do
art
that.
is awesome.
That one, and the Dan Hip, I'm just one Sarah away.
There you go. Yeah.
But the Hellfire, I'll never.
I got the Doctor Doom because he looked awesome, but other than that, I didn't get any of them either.
And then it'll be a cold day in hell before I pay 1,200 gold for a Venomized Baron Mordo.
Most useless card in the game. One. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. Get your free credits. Go to the NuVerse shop. This is 17 hours left.
Yeah, I just want to point it out quick because it's a promo that's dying soon, and obviously season pass is like the best thing to buy in this game, but these seem like a lot better value than a lot of the bundles that come out, at least to me. Yeah. So if you are looking to spend, but once you start spending, right? Even like these Shuri and Sauron, like seems like really good value. You get a ton of tokens and stuff for for not that much money compared to what you find a lot of the time in the shop bundles. So it's going to be over in probably like less than 24 hours, especially after this pod comes out. So it's worth checking out for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I shared it when I saw it because I had no idea. I checked this usually pretty kind of regularly now because I know that there's stuff on there. And I don't know if everybody knows, but even if you buy the season pass, you're going to get stuff on that website. So even if you get the season pass, you can go in and click and you'll get whatever the very first reward is. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I had no idea. I found out like today, so I just want to point out.
if you buy the season pass, you get a premium mystery variant and 250 credits.
Yep.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, kind of cool.
For free. Well, not for free, but you pay. So the last thing we'll do is demand by the people is go over some spotlights. So obviously I have to pull up Drew Barry's graphics. Shout out to Drew Barry. Just amazing. These graphics are just the best. There's best in the game, period. So he goes through everything. So right now we have Miek, Phoenix Force, Annihilus. To me, I would say if you're rolling for spotlight caches, it's only if you want Annihilus. Otherwise, I don't know. I wouldn't waste any keys on Meek or Phoenix Force, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with you. I ended up getting I have enough tokens where I ended up I'm collection complete, so I bought Meek, but I there's nothing in there. There's caches that I don't already have, and the variants for the Annihilus aren't great. I have a better variant for him, and the Phoenix Force one isn't spectacular either. So yeah, I agree. I think I told my audience the same thing. If you're not if you really don't want Meek, it's definitely a skippable card, I think, at least until discard stuff comes out next month.
Yeah, super. If you love discard, then maybe worth the 3K tokens only. I definitely wouldn't waste any spotlight keys on this one. Those keys are precious, and we got some good weeks coming up. So,
and especially with one more card per month, they're even more precious than they were.
Yeah, so save up your keys. If you have a ton of tokens to burn, then you grab, and you love discard, then you grab Meek. But he's not like you could put him in other decks. He's only goes in the one deck. So if you don't like discard, even save those 3K. And then Grandmaster coming next week. Maybe.
Yeah, next week's interesting. I mean, Grandmaster, Hitmonkey, and Loki. Mm-hmm. Loki, took a big hit. I don't see too much Loki anymore. So I don't know. Is Loki, maybe it's worth getting, but it's definitely not top tier anymore. Mm-hmm. Hitmonkey, definitely not top tier right now. Maybe with some of the cards in February, you might see more Hitmonkey, but definitely not a top tier card. And Grandmaster is one of those cards that could be really good or might not be good at all. So I would say for next week, I would say wait like a week, wait like 5 days, and see what people are doing. Unless if you really want to play Loki and you miss Loki and you really want to play Loki decks, then by all means, fun is the name of the game, right? So if it's going to have fun, do that. But if you're looking for is Grandmaster going to be good? Honestly, who knows? I don't know. Let content creators, let content creators and people like us just buy them and be like, oh, it's good. Oh, there goes my wallet, and then it's crap card. But I'm gonna be on that Black Widow grind 3. So
yeah.
But that's what I would say. And I don't know.
What do you think about this one,
Joe?
I
would tend to agree. I mean, kind of wait on Grandmaster, although the Loki is a comic book cover, and I am probably going to end up getting it just for that reason. That's President Loki, which was kind of a recent comic that they did. So that's one of those covers. Hitmonkey, you don't see him played often at all anymore unless Bounce comes back big time. But even then, you don't even know if he'll be included in there. And like you said about Grandmaster, it does seem like it's going to be cool, but I would agree with you. I think it's kind of a wait and see. Unless you really don't, if you don't have Loki, it's not great right now, but it'll still be around. People are I know Lambie's still playing it, trying to figure it out with Devil Dino and stuff in there. So it's still going to be a card that's still going to be kind of relevant. So if you don't have it, I would probably say maybe get that. But other than that, I agree with you. I think it's a wait and see week.
Yeah, it's an interesting a week because they're all Series 5 cards. I would say Hitmonkey's probably dropping in the next series drop, but that could be 6 months from now. We don't know. So, literally, that could be June, the next series drop. So we don't know the frequency of them. Maybe we'll never get another series drop. But I think if they do, because Hitmonkey's just been Series 5 for so long that he would be a very clear candidate to drop. For me, Grandmaster seems so interesting and so fun, and I just try to rate these cards. If I'm gonna get them, are they gonna be really fun to play? Is it an interesting effect? And I think Grandmaster is one of these cards. I think Meek is not, honestly. Meek is I love this card, but he's so straightforward. He's just a one guy that scales up in power a little bit. It's really not that interesting. This card's super interesting to me, so I'm gonna be rolling for him. Even though I have the other cards, and I don't want to spend 6K on them. So,
Yeah, I don't think it takes a lot for me to say to spend 6K on something. Obviously Hercules spend 6K, he's a Series 5. But no, Grandmaster. Yeah, I probably wouldn't spend 6K on him at all. If I do get him, I'll be rolling spotlight caches probably. Just because I'm a filthy token hoarder. So, but yeah, I don't.
Potential
like he seems to be a really cool card, but like if he's just garbage, like you're gonna feel bad if you wasted your spotlight keys when the next couple of months all the cards look cracked.
Yeah, and another thing to point out too is Grandmaster is one of these cards where if he is insane, he will get nerfed because he could break the game, like he could completely break the game in half. So which everybody's playing it and just doing stupid combos and just all RNG like bullshit. So he's a nerf candidate for sure if he's too good. So even if you do spend, like, you know, you could be one of those people that's mad and they're, I lost my investment or whatever. You'd be one of those people. So you don't want to, you know, be one of those people either.
Yeah, that's a great point. You have to think that way, and it kind of sucks that you do. But yeah, I mean, when they nerf cards so quickly, and if that gets out of hand, if somebody finds like a really broken combo with Grandmaster, then they will. So yeah, that's a good point. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a one talk with Ravona. Like, you know, this guy could be cracked.
Yeah, we won't go 3 weeks into the future because that's just like, you know, who knows what can happen with the meta there. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it. We're almost 2 hours in. Holy shit! I mean, Joe, man, thank you so much for coming. That was a lot of fun, man. Thank you. We really appreciate your time,
man. Anytime, and you guys got to come over to mine. So I definitely got to have you on my show as well. So. Yeah, man. Yeah. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Thank you so much for having me. Really, really appreciate it. Man, you got to keep doing that game, man. I dig that, man. That's got to be a part of every show now, man. You can't. Yeah. I love it. Love it.
Anytime there's guests, I think I'm gonna have to because it's just so much fun. It's hilarious, and even making them, it's fun.
That was great, man. Yeah, great time. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. No big deal. What do you got to say to the people?
Well, number one, you know, Snap Decisions. Check it out. All the podcast platforms. Joe's the man. He's hilarious. He says I sit there and rant on his own. He's really good at ranting on his own. So he's like phenomenal at it. So definitely worth checking. He throws a lot of jokes in there. It's a lot like this pod. Like, it's very like lighthearted and just like very fun and awesome to listen to, especially with driving. You're the best like driving podcast, Joe. I love it.
I appreciate it
while I'm driving.
Thank you so much.
Check them out. Man, meta's awesome right now. You know, play Dagger, play Quake, play you know, all those decks that didn't quite have enough power to stand up to the blob. You could stand up now. You can make a stand, take a chance, and break away.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my god!
I don't know where I'm going with that. My bad. I don't know.
After everyone's ears are bleeding. All right. Thanks again. All right. Peace.
See ya.
Peace.